Going. You're live. That's what the internet tells us. That's what we believe to be the truth. Hello, everyone.
Howdy.
Welcome back. It's been a long time because we weren't here last week. So 2 weeks, I don't know if I like that very much. Oh my gosh, now it's me with the noise. Oh, and I'm making it even worse. Hold on. Big old thing going on here.
Wow. So anyways.
Yeah,
How is everyone?
How's everybody doing today? So, wow, I just messed up my whole thing. I've got multiple screens, and now none of them are working. So, anyway, hello, welcome. It's 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I am glad you're here. We're glad you're here. Like I said, because we took a week off. So, a lot going on. A lot happened. Lots of things to talk about, I think. So, this past weekend, I was in Florida. I was in the Tampa area, the Pasco County Aquarium Club. Got to speak there, and I want to just say right from the start, thank you to Grant and Shelby and family for taking me all around town. Because of that, I got a really cool experience, and two, a whole lot of footage. Today I started sitting down and looking through all that footage, and I was like, wow, there's a lot here. So I should have about 4 or 5 fish breeding place tours for you coming up in the next month or two, and a lot to learn from that. So I'm excited. I think the first one will drop, as they say, on Friday. Yeah, I just use YouTube terminology. First one's gonna drop on Friday, yo. So that's no, that's not what we say.
No.
That didn't sound like normal.
You can do that once. Now we're done with that.
Okay, I'm done with that. But it is going to come out on Friday. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
There you go.
And check this out. So they gave me a shirt, and I was all excited about it. And I brought it home.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. It's a cool shirt.
Show everybody your shirt.
And that's cool.
Yeah,
it's
so
got
that's the Pasco County shirt.
Crazy cool fish on it.
It is crazy
I
cool.
love it.
And yeah, so
You can wear it if you can ever find it.
that's going to be the problem, right? That will be the issue. So she's got that shirt. No, while I'm thinking about it, we have, for those of you who don't know, we have the new summertime primetime aquatic shirts, very limited quantities. Mm-hmm. It was basically like, a Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, sort of all wrapped in one.
USA/UK.
Stripes and stars. Yeah. So there you have it. They're on the internet, primetimeaquatics.com. If you are looking for your summer attire and you just want to show off and be cool. Things that we did or are doing this week. Let's see. What is today? Wednesday. So Monday, we did the dwarf gourami versus the honey gourami. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that what we did? So I know many of you have asked questions about the dwarf gourami and the honey gourami, and they're both smaller gourami, but they're not the same. And we have had lots of experience with both, at least in our experience. They are definitely not the same. Just because they are both on the smaller side doesn't mean they are interchangeable. So if you're interested in checking out honey gouramis and dwarf gouramis and what the difference is, check out the video on Monday. Today, you did what?
It was kind of an update on how the green hair algae is doing with the fixes that I implemented. In my 5-gallon tank that just keeps on giving.
Yeah, so
it's a great tank with lots of learning things and awesomeness.
And that was on the small scape, so that was your channel.
Yeah.
Let's see, tomorrow we've got members only. We're back down in the fish room. Friday, like I said, be looking forward to the video drop. I said it again. I know. That's like 3 times I've said that.
I'm looking forward to seeing because I didn't go.
Yeah,
so.
It's going to be really cool. There's definitely going to be some things to learn, some really cool looking fish in the video on Friday. And then Saturday, you're going to have something cool, I'm sure, on the small scape, some little tip or trick or something neato.
You got it.
Yeah, that was really neato. That's what we can all say about it.
I'm hoping it's one particular thing, but I need preparation time. So fingers crossed.
Well, we'll be looking forward to that one. Let's see what else we got going on. Where we're going to be, there are some things now. So June, I really should look these dates up before I start babbling on about stuff. I think it's June 26th. Can you look real fast on your calendar and tell me if June 26th is a Sunday? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay, so June 26th, we are going to be at the Greenwater Aquarius Society swap. So we'll be bringing fish. We'll probably have those posted around early in that week. That's usually how we roll with that. We got Aquashella Dallas coming up in the first weekend in August. in Dallas, of course, because I just said Aquashella Dallas. Looking forward to that quite a bit. I am most likely going to be at Animal Con. That is in Orlando at the end of August. We haven't decided whether you're going to go. You're probably leaning towards maybe not because there's so many responsibilities here. Yeah. So that is, again, end of August, Animal Con, animalconusa.com, I think is the website. Again, I really should be looking these things up before I babble on about them, but it should be fun. A lot of people going to be there. A lot of people, I think. So that's the story for the summertime, the near future. Do you have anything you want to add? No? We do have a giveaway today. So, and
yay!
I believe this is one of your favorite things to give away. Is this correct? Mm-hmm. Like usually when we give it away, you're like, I just wish I could win. But the people giving away the stuff really can't win the stuff, or that might look pretty bad.
It's okay.
Wouldn't it be funny? She picks the number and then types in the chat real fast, the number, and then we're like, she won again? It's like 9 times in a row. I don't want to play this stupid game anymore.
That's right. Yeah. Who's this small skate person? She keeps winning.
Yeah. So JK Fishkeeping asks, how was Florida? Florida was awesome. Again, big thank you to Grant and Shelby. They basically they carted me around like all weekend, from basically when I got in Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And they're busy. They're extremely busy people. They've got a business to run, and they're spending so much time showing me all these cool places. But Florida was great. The club was great. I thought it was a good turnout. Cool. Over 100 people, I believe, is what they said. And the cool thing, so let me say something here. If you're in the Florida area, like in the Tampa area, you need to go to this club, Pasco County Aquarium Club. Again, I'm not saying the name 100% right, but type it in. Trust me, you'll get a Google result. That club was really cool. They had more fish just at a regular club meeting, like just bags of fish and plants and all kinds of stuff, than you see at some like straight up club auctions, like full on auctions. So their like monthly club meeting had probably, I don't even know, 100, 200 bags, certainly over 100, maybe a couple 100 bags of fish, just for the, after the club talk, after me auction thing.
Wait, Ludo Kerfuffle wants to know, what's the club?
Pasco County.
Is it Pasco or Pasco?
I think it's Pasco. Maybe it's Pasco.
I don't think it's spelled Pasco.
I don't know. It's well, hold on. Let me see. It is the Aquatic Club of Pasco, Pasco. So hold on, let me see here.
Thank you.
Pasco County. Did I spell that right? Yeah. So that's it right there. That's the county. And it's the Aquatic Club of Pasco County. Sorry, I'm not from there. I messed up the thing, man. So really cool. If you're in that area, I can't say it enough. Go. Just go. LRB, Lucas Bretz was there.
Yeah. Toski wants to know, did you see his video?
I didn't see his video yet. In fact, he sent it to me, texted it to me. I'm like, I got to go check it out.
Yeah.
So I will do that probably right after this thing. Ryan from Wild Fish Tanks was there. If somebody asked.
That's cool.
So we took a picture, and Grant was there too, of course. And Ryan is huge. He's like I don't know how tall he is.
6'5" or something?
No, he's taller than that.
Really?
I mean, I don't even come up to his shoulder. And somebody commented on the Facebook post, is Ryan really that tall, or are all of you that short? I'm like, no, he's really tall. So if you ever want to feel, at least for me, if I ever want to feel short, I will stand in the middle of Ryan, and the other side maybe like, Whips World or Fishy Biz, Drew from Fishy Biz Aquatics.
Yeah.
You stand between those guys, and you're like, I'm pretty tiny. I think I'm way less than average. And really, it's just that they're big dudes, man. It's pretty cool.
So Ryan was there. He's so nice.
He's
very sweet.
Definitely an awesome guy. And he was doing some of the auctioning. He's a good auctioneer, too.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is, for sure. He keeps it moving. So that was the story there. Today, we have no subject planned. It's going to be a Q&A, because now you've got 2 weeks of probably questions that's been building up. Jennifer, you went clubbing? Well, I went fish clubbing.
Fish clubbing.
And fish room clubbing. So that's the funny thing.
That could be really funny merch.
Fish room clubbing?
Fish room clubbing.
Yeah, definitely did that. And like I said, I saw so much cool things. And you're going to see them too, because if I see them and I have a camera, which I almost always do, you're going to see them. So that's the story there.
Cool.
All right, what do we got?
Wendy says, buy the summer shirt. I ordered mine. Their shirts are great quality. I have the Christmas Santa one and looking forward to the summer one. Well, yeah, Wendy.
Thank you.
I put yours in the mail. What?
It's in the mail.
So exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yep, very cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. So again, limited quantities. So we didn't go crazy with this one because it's the summer. And Chris Biggs is here. What's up? Yeah, I think you spoke at that club, right? I thought I heard at one point you were there or Tampa or somewhere.
Cool.
So that's cool. Always a very entertaining talk. I saw Chris back in, what was it, 2019? You did the talk at the OCA, I believe it was.
Oh.
So yeah, you missed it because you weren't there.
Oh.
But I got to see it, and so that made me special in many ways.
True.
So Jen, just want to say thank you so much for becoming a primetime partner, primate, prime timer. We have many names in our little group. Thanks for being one of them. And we got Jay Oliver's here. Guppies
Hey,
and Aquatics.
Jay Oliver.
What's up? Hope to see us in Dallas pretty soon. Hey, Fish Family, I hope everyone is doing well and staying healthy. I think we're doing all right. Yeah, so last week, the reason why we missed the stream is I had a cold. It wasn't like the bad thing, It
Summer
was
cold.
It
Just
was
you got it
up.
out of the way.
Eli
before.
came down. He had a little bit of the sniffles, and then all of a sudden I got like a straight on cold. So it was just annoying. Like colds are. We forget just, oh my gosh, a cold's just annoying. Get runny nose and all that kind of stuff, and my throat started getting a little raspy. I probably would have sounded different, like basically Darth Vader giving you a live stream.
Yeah, you just don't want to be.
It's kind of cool. It's entertaining when I get the cold throat or like the flu throat, because I do. I wake up in the morning like, and I sound, I am your father, and I can do that to the kids, and but it really does. It's pretty awesome. I just don't think it's good for a live stream, because eventually it would have gone out. I would have been in the middle of a question.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what's he saying?
Mm-hmm.
What? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right.
Men are babies with colds.
We are. I am.
A little bit.
I don't know about everybody, but I kind of am. Like, you had the cold too. And there was a big difference between the two of us, because I'm like laying on the couch. And if you ever, you've got like a cold. Does anybody ever do this where you've got the mound of tissues? And everywhere you go, you form the mound of tissues. I can't help it. It just happens. My nose gets really, really runny. This one over here got the same cold like a few days later. She's like, I'm sick. I got your cold. Thanks a lot. But then I almost forget that you are sick, because you just somehow don't look it or something.
I know.
You don't get a runny nose. Maybe that's what it is. Your colds are not the runny nose type. Or maybe my body's just messed up and like, oh my gosh, it's a virus. Let's make the nose run excessively. So anyway.
I don't know, but you survived. Good job.
I did. Just barely. Now I'm back. Oh, it's good to be back. Yeah. Chris Biggs, you say that like it's a good thing. It was a good thing. Are you going to be speaking there again? I thought I saw your name somewhere at some club.
All right.
Soon.
Do we want to do a question?
Hold on. Yeah, I was in the middle of doing one thing here, and then we're going to do some questions for sure.
Fishy questions.
Laura B, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. And then, oh my goodness, BC Dolphin 65. Appreciate the super chat. Your thoughts on one pea puffer in moderately planted 20-gallon with 1 adult bristlenose, 3 adult cory cats, 4 adult peacock gudgeons, and 2 juvenile sparkling gouramis in a 20. I don't know if I would necessarily hesitate to do that, because the things that it's going to eat, it eats slow, right, compared to all those other fish, but the other fish for the most part aren't going to want to mess with snails. So probably would be okay in a 20. It could get finippy. You just never know 100% for sure what it's going to do with the cory cats, because cory cats are kind of slow and silly, and they're like, oh, there's a threat. Let me just sit here on the ground and take it. Maybe it might be a little finippy, but it's worked. I know lots of people have done it. We had our pea puffers in. What did we have our pea puffers in? At one point, we had them in with something besides just themselves. Was it Daniels? Not that that's a good, it's not really comparable to what you're talking about, but
yes,
most likely.
Daniels.
It's something I wouldn't hesitate trying, but always have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I did have them in with sparkling gouramis.
Oh, remember? That's right, you did, and that worked out just fine.
In my bookshelf tank.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that worked out just fine. Now the bookshelf tank was even longer than the 20, so
True.
that's something. I think it was. That was 30, at least 36 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
So, funny story. I'm speaking at the club, right? And I'm going over all the stuff, blah blah blah, and I'm talking, and I got to the low boy because I was talking about the polycarbonate lids. And I didn't know I did this, because sometimes I say things, and I'm sure I've done it many times on a live stream. I know I've done it in class, because students will look at me like, what did he just say? So I'm blabbering on, and I said, And then these polycarbonate lids are great for the low boy. They're 48 feet by 30 feet by 10 inches. And I didn't catch it at all because I'm just going blah, 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 blah. And Grant comes up to me afterwards, he's like, dude, it was pretty hilarious. You said the low boy was 48 feet by 30 feet. And a couple people were just like, huh? Wow, he's like, I understood you meant inches, but you said feet. I'm like, well, that would be an awfully large tank. I wish there was a low boy that was 48 feet by 30 feet by 10 inches.
That would be like a small ocean.
It would be a very large pond type thing, which would be cool. Michelle, thank you so much for becoming a prime timer. Appreciate it. That's very cool. All right, so you had questions, you say?
Wendy says it's called a man cold.
Yeah, it is. And it's way worse than a regular cold.
That's funny.
Man, I love this bottle, but I say this every week. It drips. I don't know what this thing is, but what's going on here?
Sorry.
It drips everywhere.
I had a question.
Let's see. What?
Oh, here we go. This is from Farley.
All right.
I have a 180-gallon tank running through a 50-gallon planted tank. Is it better to have a slow flow through or fast for nitrate removal?
That's a great question. It's something that we've talked about before when it just comes to filtration in general. And in fact, I just did a video on filter flow, the amount of water, like gallons per hour through filter media. And there's two ways to look at it. One way is the slower the flow, the more likely whatever you're dealing with, whether it's bacteria or plant roots, are going to come into contact with the nutrients. The faster the flow, though, however, the more nutrients are going to cross over that potential surface area. I don't think that's the main issue when it comes to flow through a filter at all. I don't think it's even remotely an important factor. I think the most important factor when it comes to how fast should water flow through a system is how much water flow do the fish that you have in the fish tanks want to deal with, right? So if you're dealing with severums or angelfish or bettas or longfin guppies, something that's just, it's going to have to constantly fight that flow, slow it down. If you're dealing with something that doesn't mind a lot faster flow, like maybe some of the tetras or, you know, some of like the rainbow shiners or something that's more streamlined, or the hillstream loaches are like, oh, this is great, man. The water's going so fast. Then you can speed it up. The filtration and converting ammonia to nitrite, nitrite to nitrate, in this case with your plants, nitrate eventually just leaving and being part of the plant itself, it doesn't matter. The flow really isn't going to have a massive impact. Make the primary concern about the fish that are living in the tank, and the bacteria and the plants will take care of the rest. Let's see here. Tigress, thank you for the super chat. 6-gallon bookshelf riverbed design plant ideas. Twin Star Light Sparkling Gourami will be the fish. All right. Plant ideas for the 6-gallon. So you've got the 6-gallon bookshelf as well. It's narrow and it's short, right?
Correct.
It's long. I think that thing is at least 30 inches long, maybe.
Yeah, that's fun for a riverbed. Plants, well, my first thoughts would probably be, yes, you could do a Nubius. They are in rivers. Crypts would kind of move kind of nicely.
But the crypts will get really bushy, right? And so that might fill the front to back.
Yeah.
And to the point where the front is going to be pushed up against the front.
Yeah, but I put crypts in pretty much anything. You could even do crypt parva.
I don't think you're going to want a ton of flow in there because they're sparkling gouramis.
No, I know.
So
I'm just saying, like, I like the movement. If you're talking about, they're going to move like, well, they're not going to be like obviously moving a lot, but in a 6-gallon, you can't really do a lot of the val. I wouldn't recommend a whole lot of the val unless you want a whole lot of maintenance there.
I definitely like the smaller Nubius Nana, Nubius Nana Petite, just because that tank, again, it's not very wide. What was that tank? Only 5 or maybe 6 inches front to back, and about 6 or 7 inches tall. So you really have to stay with the smaller plants unless you want something growing up and above the water.
With the riverbed, I kind of like, obviously, like the smooth rock, a little bit of driftwood. Personally, if I were to do something like that, I would probably just mass plant it with crypt parva.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Nick, appreciate the super chat. Thank you. No question. Just wanted to thank you for your advice. A few weeks ago, my 5-gallon football spec, I got a rainbow Betta named, wait, what is that? Ahsoka? And he is doing amazing. He gets North Fin Betta food and bug bites, tropical small. Very cool. That's awesome. I hope you're enjoying it. That sounds like a great tank.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Super fun.
Heck yeah. Crispy Page. That's cool. Crispy Pages. Thank you for the super chat.
Brand new book.
Yep. Can Plecos eat themselves to death? My bristlenose cleaned up one of my tanks with severe algae in 2 days and went crazy digging sand dunes and died.
Oh.
Huh.
A Pleco?
No, they generally don't. I wouldn't say that. Most fish know, okay, I'm full. The exceptions being like the Raphael cats. Some cichlids sometimes are too dumb to realize, man, I think I'm done eating, although they just start spitting it back out. So I don't think it was a case of overeating. If the bristlenose Plecos on the smaller side, sometimes they can be pretty fragile. So I always say bristlenose Plecos under about 1.5 inches can be really hit or miss in terms of how long they survive. Generally speaking, when we breed them at home, we don't have a ton of issues, but like buying them from the store, I tend to want to deal with larger bristlenose Plecos that I know have been eating and have been healthy. I would love, ideally, to see a bristlenose Pleco in that store for 2 or 3 weeks, that it's at least 3 or 4 inches, and then wander back in there in about 3 weeks. Of course, you're taking your chances of it not being there. But yeah, they can be a little bit hit or miss when they're really small, if that was the case.
I think you may have missed a super chat.
I did.
From Laura B.
I did not miss a super chat from Laura B. There was no question, right? I said, Laura B, thank you very much for the super chat. No question there.
No question. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, JK. Thanks anyways.
We got it.
We got it.
But like keeping me on my toes.
All right, Ryan wants to know, what's the smallest tank you could have a pair of shell dwellers?
Smallest tank that you can do a pair. One pair depends on the shell dweller. Oh, wait, she did have a question. Hold on a second. So hold that question about...
Sure.
Thank you, JK. Thank you. Appreciate it. Laura B, first time I've ever bought fish online and they are arriving any minute. Should I feed them tonight or should I leave them be? They started their journey in the morning. And then JK said, feed tomorrow. I would agree. I think for the most part, if they're being shipped 24 hours, usually it's next day, priorities sort of thing. So they probably didn't feed them the 24 hours before they shipped. Hopefully not. They haven't eaten while they're being shipped, but they're probably going to be a little bit stressed. And then just tomorrow morning, give them some food, watch them, see how they're doing. So yeah. And James did confirm the Aquatic Club of Pasco County. Pasco, I always want to say Pasco.
Why?
I don't know why. Is there something Pasco? I feel like maybe there's a thing.
Is it a person? Like a person's last name?
I think.
Like a football player or something?
PascoFish.com is the place to check them out. Appreciate you doing that, James. Thank you. So, hold on. Now you asked about the shell dwellers. Mm-hmm. One pair. So, kind of, sort of depends, I guess, a little bit on the type of shell dweller. Some are more aggressive than others. If it's a pair, your Maltese, your Similis, Brevis, they're all fine in a 10-gallon as a pair. But I say that knowing that you are going to have some work to do. So if they start having offspring, they're going to overrun a tank very, very quickly, and there isn't enough territory there long term for them to figure it out. So it's basically one of those things where I've got a pair, they have fry, they get to a point where they're 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, I got to get them out of that tank. And for some people, that can be a real pain. So if you want to avoid that and just let that pair turn into a colony, hopefully, then a 20-gallon would be better. Especially a 20-gallon long is a great tank. Right now, I just counted, by the way, our 20 long with the Similis shell dweller. They look a lot like the Maltese. There were like 50 of them in there of all different sizes, anywhere from little babies to full-grown adults. So we're going to be bringing some of those to the Greenwater Aquarius swap next month for sure. But 20 long, you're really safe to see those colony characteristics. Can you do it in a 10? Yes, but you're just removing so many fish, it becomes a little bit of a pain. And then some of them, like the gold ocellatus, if it's a pair, sometimes the male will appreciate the female being around, sometimes it won't. The Meleagris are really mean, and so sometimes that doesn't work no matter what. So Maltese, Similis, Brevis are probably your safest bet. All right. What was that all about? You got a question did you find, or are you just
No,
thinking out loud?
just what you were saying.
Alrighty.
So,
All right, by the way, before I forget, if you want us to answer a question, it's always helpful if you put the Primetime Aquatics at Primetime Aquatics in the text, because it highlights it in orange for us, makes it a little bit easier for us to see. The secret history living in your aquarium is here.
Hey,
What's
Alex.
up? Did pea puffers with peacock gudgeons, neon dwarf rainbows, and a Betta in a 20-gallon. If you block enough lines of sight and spot feed the puffers, it worked out. The pea puffers are inclined. Seems reasonable for sure.
Yeah, when we had pea puffers, they were so nice. They were not like attacking Mr. Snails or anything. They're rather timid.
Alice B. Jason needs to wear a bib to protect from the drip. This thing is a great water bottle, but I don't know what's up with the thing here, but it drips into this ledge here, and then when I pour it, it just drips out of here all over my shirt. It does that almost every time.
There was a comment that you need a sippy cup. That's right.
Remember the boys, the tippy cup?
Yep.
Where's my tippy cup? We might even still have a few.
I saved one.
Was it the Cars?
You better believe it.
Yeah.
One of the best movies ever.
That one's got to stay. That's something.
Classic.
Maybe someday we have grandkids like, here, drink out of this 40-year-old thing, or 30-year-old, or however old it'll be by that time. Yeah. Hold on, I got a question here. Renita said, fairly new to the hobby and been watching for a while.
Yay.
Please tell me, having 4 tanks already is normal, or do I have issues? In here, it's totally normal.
Yeah.
In the other part of the world, the other people, like the people non-fish keepers, they're probably going to be like, 4 tanks? Oh my gosh. Very typical thing to have happen. I've talked to many people who are like, yeah, a year ago I started with my first fish tank. It was a Betta tank. Now I got 20. So you're on your way to that. It'll be awesome. Whip's World is here. Hey, everyone.
Hey, Whip.
How you doing? All right, you were going to say something.
Yes, super chat.
Oh, hold on. Is this thing stuck? What are you talking about?
Okay.
What are you talking about? Oh, there we go. Belengu? Thank you very much for the super chat. She's always going to check because she knows my eyes are shot, and anytime I say something, she's like, did you really?
Yeah, and my eyes are only minimally better.
But way better than mine. First time here live. Well, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate what you guys do. Plants are expensive. Any advice on plant propagation and what stem leafy plants are easiest? I will leave this one for you.
To make yourself lots of plants, I would definitely go with Valsnaria. Super, and you can, if you're just like, go with corkscrew val. It's so beautiful, and it's just gonna be popping up everywhere. You're gonna have enough for all your tanks. Hornwort, if you like it to float, sort of thing, that will grow like weed. Let's see, what else would I say? In the right conditions, the wasser tank can grow pretty decently.
In the right conditions, i.e., this tank behind your head over here.
I think I'm just gonna bring some.
That thing is a mutant.
It used to be like this amount.
Well, I think
shoved into a rock.
You did the profile on Subwasser Tang when you first got it. It was like, it was like this.
Yeah.
That thing. Can you move? Can you just lean towards me a little bit? More. That's Subwasser Tang. It is now, basically, that's all the tank is.
Yeah.
But you want to know the really cool thing? The really cool thing is there's 4 or 5 Florida-lease killifish in there, and they almost treat it like a reef or something.
Yeah,
they go in.
They're like little Nemos.
And they pick and then when you feed them, they kind of stick their little head out and they eat, but then they go right back in the plant. So it's pretty awesome.
I know.
So you said Jungle Val, Subwasser Tang, Water Sprite, Water Wisteria grow very, very quickly. Hornwort can grow very, very fast.
Crips can grow decently with some runners, so that can be really simple. I like Micro Sword. That can grow really pretty decent too. Anything that grows via the runners, it'll be really, really easy to propagate it too. Those are probably my picks. Yeah. Those
are good picks. Those are good choices, and they're pretty easy to find too. Guess who's here? Fish Fan 20 Gallon Long.
What?
Hanging out, celebrating member for 12 months. Thank you for being here. I just want to say thank you for giving me the confidence to get into the aquarium hobby. I love my 3 aquariums. It's all because of you.
Yay.
Well, thank you. I hope you're having a great time with your 3 aquariums. That's really cool.
It's a nice number.
Yep, thanks for being here. Stephen, thank you for the super chat. 55-gallon breeder style, 36 18 by 20. Best beginner dwarf cichlid with color and recommended stocking levels, 2 sponge filters and a hang-on back. So 36 by 18 by 20. So yeah, you've got basically like the 40 breeder, just a little taller. And we're looking for some smaller cichlids. Well, it kind of depends on if you like plants and what your water parameters are. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that you don't really care about plants and your water is on the harder side. Then my initial suggestions were going to be some of the Mbuna. Because they also like that height, they'll go crazy for that. The ones that come to mind are the rusty cichlids, the Pseudotropheus solosi. Those are really pretty. I keep those together in a 55, a standard 55. They get along just fine. Yellow labs, for the most part, would do well in a setup like that. Stocking levels, if you are looking to breed, then you're probably going to want to do maybe a couple males and 5 or 6 females and just leave it at that. If you want to mix them, that's also fine. In a 55 that size, I would be a little careful. Any 3 of those fish are going to work, but I don't know if I would go over, in that size tank, 10 or 12 maybe. If you like plants and your water is not on the harder side with a higher pH, then you've got the whole apistogramma sort of fish, which are great. You could easily do at least a pair in a tank like that, maybe even a couple pairs if you've got a heavily planted tank with a lot of structure. You've got all the different types of rams. So apistos, there's many, many different kinds, and some of them are really, really beautiful. But some of my favorites are the Panduro, the Cacatoides are really, really pretty. The Borellii are awesome looking. The rams, you've got all the different types of rams. The electric blues, you've got the standards, you've got Bolivian rams, you have the electric yellows, the long fins, the balloons, the black rams. Again, if you're looking at a tank like that and you really just want a centerpiece, then I might just do a pair of rams or a pair of apistos just to cut down on the likelihood that they're chasing each other around. You have the cribensis as well. So if your water is if it's kind of neutral, not really hard water, I would say moderately hard water or slightly on the softer side, you've got the cribensis, which are sometimes overlooked, but really fun.
They sure are.
And then you also have like the curviceps and the keyhole cichlids, which can be cool.
Those are cool.
Yeah. Not as much color, although the curviceps has some nice color, but the keyhole is not quite as much as the other fish I've mentioned. But they're also a little bit easier to deal with than sometimes the rams and the apistos are. Alex, thank you very much for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. Get yourself some new eyes, kids. I hope you're doing well and having a great night. Come on, man. I can't do it.
Glasses.
Hold on. I've got reading glasses. I think they're right on the other side of the computer over here.
You have them like everywhere. You're worse than me.
I've got like 20 pairs. I'm just not going to wear them.
You can walk around and not see. Yeah. I mean, and actually see.
Yeah,
I can't walk around.
Yeah, I can see far away. I'm like Costanza. I'm like, you see that dime over there on the floor, like 25 feet away? But it's just the reading thing when it's all up in my face. I'm just going to have to get a bigger screen. So that's just the way I'm going to have to break down and get like a 75-inch screen and just put it up on the wall and make the font extra big. Like board games?
War games.
Oh, war games.
Big screen.
Oh, yeah, like the movie you mean? War games? Yeah, that would be cool. That's one of those movies that's in our rotation.
Yeah.
And I like it because I can just fall asleep to it. I don't know why. Don't ask me why I do weird things. But yeah, War Games is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, put it on your list. And you can watch it with the kids for the most part, right? I think so. There's nothing like anything in there that's bad. Let me see. Alice says, how can I make sure my pea puffer is eating in a heavily planted 5-gallon? Most of the bottom is covered in a carpeting plant. Well, just as long as it's not looking skinny, it's probably eating. Throw some snails in there, let them hunt. If your pea puffer's like ours, you got to crush them up. You can do that as well. Let me see. What else we got here? Hold on a second. What you got? You got something?
The Garden of Eden.
What? Where? The Garden of Eden. What's up? Hey, Dave. That's what he said. We were just talking about you and all the cool things we did over the weekend.
Yeah.
And look at the shirt.
I stole it already.
She stole it.
And
She's
I'm
wearing
not
the shirt.
sorry.
Yeah, I'll get it back. I'll wait. I'll just wait for the opportune time, and I will get that shirt back. Don't
it's
you
a sweet
worry.
shirt. Way to go.
Mess Command, I have a 10-gallon with zebra Danios. Thank you for all your videos. I love my fish. Well, I'm glad. That's cool. Zebra Danios are full of energy.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Crazy little fish.
Yeah.
We like them too. We like them too.
They'd probably be really good at a tank right next to your desk. If you have like a lot of work to do and you really have to get it done really fast, they're great encouragement.
They are. All right, Spider-Man. Do you have any adult clown loaches? And if yes, could you show us or tell us the size of them? I do. The last time they were in a video would have been in January of 2021. It was the part 2 of our fish room tour. It would have been the first tank that I showed. It's the 150 gallon. And they were right at the end of me showing the 150. At that time, I think there were only maybe 2 or 3 that came out and said hello. But we have a group in the 150. And I'm trying to think of how many they're in there at this point. I think there's 5 or 6. 2 of them are older than the other 3. I'm pretty sure there's 5. And the largest ones are probably this big. So let's say 7 inches. And the smaller ones are, what would you think, 4, maybe 4 inches or so. They don't grow fast. So it's one of those things where, you look all over the internet, and we say that too. They can grow up to a foot, and that's something you have to consider long term. But you're talking about a fish that might live for 20 years, and it's going to take a very long time. When you see those larger clown loaches, 1, they were either recently caught from the wild, or 2, if somebody grew them up in a tank. Often, it takes many years for them to get to that size. My aunt used to love clown. Well, she still does love clown loaches. She doesn't keep tanks anymore, but she had. Remember that 135 gallon she had in her basement?
I do.
And she always kept clown loaches. Loved these fish, and I don't know what she was feeding these fish, but they were always huge. So I mean, she had some ones that were probably 8 to 10 inches in a big old group. And when you walk up to the tank, you'd never really see them. And she'd like, watch this. She'd lift up the little log cave thing, and they'd all come out, and it was so cool.
Alice wants to know, how can I make sure my pea puffer is eating in a heavily planted 5-gallon? Most of the bottom is covered in a carpeting plant.
Should we tell her?
Huh?
Should we tell her, everybody? Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead and tell her.
Did you already answer the question?
Yep.
Really?
Yep, we did.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I was like that in... Whose was I reading?
I don't know what you were doing.
Was I
You
responding
were
to
zoning
somebody?
out, and
What did you say?
this
Hand
is
feed 'em?
basically our life, where I think we're getting to that point where I'll say some things, and even if she's not looking at a super or a live chat, she's still basically probably not listening to some of the things I say.
Do you know that I could... This is a fun fact. I can watch any sports game and at the end not have any idea who won, what the score was, or even who played.
I was going to say, half the time you don't even know who was playing.
Right.
Yeah, so...
I'm kind of proud about that.
And yet here I am. I can still tell you, for the most part, who the starting lineup was for the 1983 White Sox.
Yeah, that's weird.
And the 1984 Cubs. So I can just go down the list. Like, okay, for the White Sox, you had Carlton Fisk, you had Scott Fletcher, you had Rudy Law, you had Vance Law, you had Greg Lazinski, Ron Kittle. And I can just keep going with it. And I can tell you the pitchers. I'm like, oh, yeah, you had Lamar Hoyt, you had Brett Burns, you had Richard Dotson. And I can just keep going. I could tell you that Steve Lake was a backup catcher. I could tell you that was it Mark Hill was a backup catcher for the Cubs in '84, and Jody. See, no. Nobody in this house appreciates that wasted.
Not every
thing.
single day.
I don't say it every day.
I know that's funny though. If you would.
Chris G, how you doing? How many tanks do you have that are over 100 gallons? Not a huge amount, because we have a limiting factor in our home, and that is we have those stupid basement stairs where it goes down, then there's like a landing, and then it goes down the other way. And so to get a tank to go down, over, and then back down again is not easy. All right, so we have the 4-foot 150 gallon. We have 4 125s. Is that it? Just the 5 of them? I think that's it, because then we've got 4 75s. Yeah. That's it. We've just got the 150 and the 4 125s. I would like at some point to mock up, just out of 1x1s, just mock up a 180 and see if I can maneuver it down the stairs before I make the investment and buy them. Although at this point, I don't know where I would put it.
Yeah, right.
We've talked about, half serious, half joking, maybe someday doing something with the garage. At that point, it's game on because I've got a garage door and I can just back up the truck and have the truck put the tank in the garage. And basically the garage is wide and long as a 2-car garage, and we can do whatever we want in there. So someday, maybe, probably not, because the garage is a mess and nothing fits in there barely. So yeah, it's one of those garages at this point where you got to kind of figure out, okay, how am I going to get from the driveway to the house door and sidestep some of the stuff? Mostly hers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's not mostly. It's like
Okay, so we don't have to debate it.
no, there's no debate about that. I'm taking the rap for that. This is a good one.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Okay, it's from Snemsy. I'm trying to convince my fiance to get a 55-gallon. What fish should I get that might interest a non-fish lover? All right, everybody, put down your suggestions.
55-gallon.
Think about you as a non-fish person or a non-fish person that you roped into the hobby. What would you put in there? I'm going to think too.
I know what I would put in there, because
I know what
I
I would
think
put in
there'd be
there.
a ton of color and they'd be really active. So it depends on your fiance and whether they like active fish or whether they like calm and relaxing. Because if they like active, I'm going in Buna because they've got tons of color. They're going to be really personable and it's going to be crazy. What are you putting in there? I know what you're going to do. Oh my gosh. We all know what she's going to do. Yeah, like 150, 200 of them.
Gosh, it would be so amazing.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. The other thing that would look really cool is, I mean, your green neons are fine, but I still really like the dwarf raspberries. And the 55-gallon, I would not hesitate to put 500 in a 55-gallon, like no joke.
That would be fun.
So that would be cool.
A whole clan of embers. That would be really pretty too.
That would also be really pretty. Yep.
Yeah.
And the embers are a little bit larger than the dwarf raspberries, so it gives you some options in terms of maybe putting in some apistos or some rams or something that would be really bright and beautiful.
Don't forget about the plants. Maybe if your fiance really likes gardening, do the old planted tank. Show some sweet aquascapes, or maybe a favorite place that they like to visit or like to go to. Choose kind of like a biotope or a kind of atmosphere of a really cool place that they just want to zone out and look at. Just give them a nice, happy place.
What if they like to go to Chili's or something? How are you going to manage that one? All right, well, I got a
figure out
booth.
something.
Put like a little man-made booth in there.
Well, I was thinking like
menus.
river, lake.
I covered a menu in plastic, and then I put some silicone around it to make it tank safe, and it's just there in the tank.
No.
Maybe not. All right, the Garden of Eater Grant says, right now our garage has 30 empty 10 gallons. Yeah, because that's where you're going after you drop me off there. I got to get the Petco. He's talking about it all week. I got to get the Petco.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
Yeah, he's addicted to Petco. Regina, are 2 large seated sponge filters enough to jumpstart a brand new 55 setup? I also have Fritzine. Yeah, absolutely it is. Just be careful. Add your fish slowly, right? Take your time. The Fritzine 7 for us has always been enough without the cycled filter media, because we're only adding 1 or 2 fish at a time, right? And so we'll add a fish or 2 and then wait a couple weeks and then add a couple more fish and just make sure we're not getting any ammonia spikes. But you've got 2 seated sponge filters plus the Fritzine 7. Yep, just don't go crazy, right? We're not trying to stock the tank out from the start. Once you do that, it's like, oh, I just filled it. Now I'm done. So if you do it slowly, and maybe you're like, okay, well, I was going to put a small school of neons or something. Well, you could do a half dozen, no problem, probably 6 to 8 at least, maybe 10, and not have any issues. And then wait a little while, wait a few weeks, make sure everything is okay, and then do the next type of fish you were going to add.
A lot of great suggestions for the 55-gallon.
What do we got?
Oh, my gosh. All right, so Geo, yes. Geo.
Oh, Geophagus.
Yeah, that was. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were
going to say something. I'm like,
name.
what? You don't like the idea of a Geophagus? What? Yeah.
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
For sure, or a pair.
Or let's see, take them to the store, let them pick something out. Let's see, honey gourami, because they are silly. Yes, they are. Yeah. They're so much fun. Any kind of fish is good fish. Alex said angels or small grow out for discus and then get another tank.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Deanna says rainbow fish or live bears.
Nice. Yeah. Rainbow fish can be cool.
Yeah. Lots of choices. Chili reservoirs, yeah.
Yep, chilies would be cool. It's kind of like the dwarfs.
Yellow labs.
Hold on, fish fan 20 gallon long. What movie? You already know enough about me anymore, and you're going to get a headache. I don't know, but that sounds like a great quote. Sounds like a movie I'd want to watch.
But you're always listing these movies that I've never seen, so I'm getting a long list of movies I gotta see. This is fun.
Let's see if anybody else can get it.
Right.
All right. So the quote once again is, "You already know enough about me anymore, and you're going to get a headache." I don't know the name of the movie, but I think the quote is cool. So it's definitely a movie that I would put on a list because it's pretty cool.
Anymore, and you're gonna have a headache.
So I think it was today. No, it was today. I got an email from a student, and for whatever reason, the topic of Mean Girls came into the office, and they all. Cool. One of the girls they said looked like Regina. It started because one of the girls from another section looked like Regina George, or they said they didn't like. You look just like Regina George, and she kind of got half offended because she's not a very nice person in the movie. Well, then they started quoting it periodically. So in today's email, I got semester's over. Oh, thank you for for the great semester. Blah 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 blah. And at the end, she said, "P.S. Sorry for the long email, but I just have a lot of feelings." Remember, she doesn't even go here. Do you even go to the school? No, I just have a lot of feelings.
Many lines.
I just thought it was funny.
So many lines.
Master photographer, been a member for 2 months. Thank you.
Sweet.
Setting up a 75-gallon, heavily planted aquascape with 12 pseudomogil furcata. So that's the rainbows, 12 Hawaiian blue Moscow guppies, sweet 4 Agassiz flame reds, safe combo. Don't see why not. It's something I would do. Should be a really cool tank. You're going to have a whole bunch of really nice color going on there. The Agassiz, I think you'd probably just want to make sure that, I'm assuming you're just going to do 2 pairs, which is fine. In a 75-gallon, I don't think you'd have too many issues. Like I said, definitely something I would try out. And you're going to have a lot of action. So you've thought that one out. You're going to have some action with the furcatas. You're going to have a lot of action with the guppies going all over the place. You'll have the pistols probably near the bottom. Just got to figure out what you're going to do for your scavengers, potentially, if that's heavily planted. So if you're going to go with, you could do some Cory cats in there. You could do some otocinclus, clown plecos, hopefully, depending on the plants. But usually they leave most plants alone, at least they have for us. But Trauma, thank you very much for the super chat. And 2 female cockatoides for my lone male, along with a bristlenose last week. Yesterday morning, I saw babies. That's sweet. Babies. So just be careful that other female. Depending on the size of the tank, you might want to get her out of there just so she doesn't get beat on. What I would have said is just keep an eye on the bristlenose, because sometimes they'll make their way into the cave or wherever they lay the eggs and eat the eggs. But if you saw babies, that's not as much of an issue anymore. So that's really cool. Congratulations. A little bit of live baby brine will certainly help.
Guess what time it is?
Is it time for the giveaway? Okay. So we've been told it's time for the giveaway, but first, hold on. Otherwise, these are going to be really tough to catch.
Okay.
Regina, thank you so much for being a member for 18 months, a year and a half.
Oh my gosh.
That's really cool.
Forever.
And Sean has been a member also for 18 months.
What?
We got some long timers here. Thank you. Hey, Jason and Joanna, hope all is good. Started a cherry tank a few months ago and just found a buried female.
Yeah. You said cherry tank. Cherry shrimp. There's a little picture of a shrimp.
Oh, cherry shrimp tank. Well, sorry, I missed the little emoji. Yes, buried female. Hopefully baby soon. Love what y'all do. Well, congratulations. Hopefully that little shrimp will give you lots of baby shrimp.
Bundles of joy.
They are extremely hard to see when they are first birthed.
Oh my gosh,
or first born.
Tiny.
Yeah, but enjoy. It's going to be cool. Marcus, thank you for the super chat. I have a 40-gallon, weird dimensions, 36, 15 and a half by 17 and a half. It overhangs on one side by 1 3/8 inch. Should I be concerned, or should it be okay? Oh boy. Did it ever have a center brace, or was it supposed to have a center brace? The fact that it's bowing out, I guess, by 1 3/8 inches, I would not trust that thing in a million years.
Or it overhangs on the shelf.
Oh, if it's overhanging on the shelf, but well, still. Oh, I see. All right, maybe that's what it is. Okay, hold on a second. So, because a normal 40-gallon breeder is 36, 18. It's very okay. I don't. If it's overhanging on the shelf by 1.5 inches,
I'm guessing.
that could be not the end of the world. I mean, some tanks, I've seen lots of tanks that overhang a little bit. I would probably want to center it. I mean, I always prefer to have a stand that fits properly. So I thought you meant it was bowing out. So if that was the case, then yeah, I'd be freaking out if that was happening. But if it's a stand issue by 1 3/8, it's a lot of weight. I don't know. I would prefer to have a stand that fit that tank. It's just me. I sleep better at night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Our Aquatic Universe with Mike B. Thank you for the super chat. Hi. I like the lowboy tank setup you have. Do you have a pro or con after owning one? Thanks from Virginia Beach, but in Cali for the week. Had in and out for the first time. It's average. Sorry, Cali people.
Really? It's only average? People go like crazy over it.
Well, see, and here's the problem with us. Being in Chicago, we've got Portillo's.
That's true.
It's nearly impossible to beat Portillo's. And I've had in and out, and I was like, it's fine. It was good. But Portillo's is like
the
thing.
Before?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of...
No, it was good.
I mean, it was good, but it wasn't
we've got Portillo's. And Portillo's is pretty much, whatever they do is usually the best in the world.
Pretty much.
On the face of the earth.
Yeah.
It's when everybody from the Chicagoland area goes back to Chicago. It's they get off a plane, they drive in. We've got friends and family. It's the first place they're going. Like, I'm going to Portillo's. So it's just what it is. Pros and cons. So I did a video that will be more extensive than the answer I'm going to give you now, but I did a video on the pros and cons of the 50-gallon lowboys, so you can check that out, where I go into a lot of depth. I don't really have any cons other than the fact that you're going to have to, if you're going to cover it, you're probably going to do that with the polycarbonate, the 8 mil polycarbonate, just because you can't find a glass lid to fit that usually, because there's no center brace. So that's one thing to consider. Filtration. You have to get a little bit creative with that. We've got 2 sponge filters, and I've got hang-on backs also now in each one of them, because we've got 2 lowboys. You can do an internal canister filter. You can do a regular canister filter. Just make sure the intake and the intake really is on the shorter side. But I absolutely love that tank. And if you're into planted tanks, because it's only 10 inches tall, oh my gosh, that thing it really does grow plants well. You got a lot of surface area there as well. For a while, one of our lowboys wasn't even really a filtered tank. It was basically filterless. And because there was so much surface area there, so many plants, it did really well like that. So I would buy it again every single time. And zero complaints. So, okay, we want to do this giveaway.
Yeah, but while you're thinking about it, we have another movie quote.
Okay.
I think you're going to know this. I think I know it. It's from Whoops World.
All right.
Throwing one into the ring here.
Bring it on, dude.
All right. I'll be taking these Huggies and whatever cash you got.
Oh, dude, come on. Raising Arizona.
Right?
Wait, what did he call it? What was her name? Well, honey. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Raising Arizona all the way. Love the movie. Spinster Sister. Do I need an air stone for a planted tank? Guppy grass. 2 weeks later. Melted. It smelled awful.
Ugh.
Some type of water movement is going to be very helpful. Just some surface agitation. It'll be good. It definitely helps. All right, giveaway for tonight. It's one giveaway. We've got multiple things that we're giving away. This is one of Joanna's favorite giveaway things. We've done this before, so it's not like completely 100% unique, but it's been a while. So you're getting 5 things. Now, again, couple rules. Rule number 1 is you got to live in the contiguous 48 states. We can't ship outside of the United States, especially this stuff. So that's a downside, I suppose, for some of you, but we do the best we can. All right. Are you ready?
Oops World wants to know if you won.
Well, you have to do the thing first. Okay.
Good luck.
Are we ready? Okay, first thing we're getting. Hold on. I got to make sure I can read it. Is the Betta water conditioner. This is water conditioner. It's pretty cool. By the way, this is Fritz. Fritz is a channel sponsor. They provide us with a lot of stuff so we can do our giveaways. They help us make sure our fish room is up and running and doing all the cool things. You can find a lot of these Fritz products at our other channel sponsor, flipaquatics.com. So Betta is the first thing, water conditioner. You're also getting a bottle of Fritz Complete. Love this stuff. We have a lot of Fritz Complete in our fish room. This is the water conditioner that we use. This is our go-to. This is good stuff. So you're getting those to step up our game a little bit. let's say you want to try something new or try something old if you've done it before. You're getting the dark water, the Fritz dark water. This is cool. So if you're interested in doing some type of a dark water tank, a lot of times we'll put our driftwood in the tank or our catappa leaves or our cholla wood, and the water gets brown because, oh, that's pretty cool. And by the way, there are a lot of fish that look absolutely stunning in a dark water tank. I'm thinking about discus. I'm thinking about a lot of the neon types of fish. So dark water is really cool. You got to be a little bit careful with this because if you've got a very low KH, this could impact your pH a little bit, but definitely worth a try. And it's an easy way to see, hey, do I like this dark water stuff? And then eventually you do water changes, it goes away. But you get the dark water. Now for some other cool things, you get catappa leaves. So you've got your dark water stuff, but you also have your catappa leaves. A number of you have been talking about, oh, I want to keep pistos or I want to keep rams. This shrimp, this is really great. These are big leaves, so you can crumple them up a little bit, tear them off. If you've got, smaller tanks like, oh man, one catappa leaf is going to basically cover most of my 5-gallon. Yeah, so break them up a little bit, but this will add some dark water flavor to your tank.
Bettas, obviously.
Yeah, bettas, but if you've got shrimp, they love to munch on this. So this is really cool. And then, of course, we have the nature box.
Love it.
So in this nature box, you're getting some more catappa leaves, but you're also getting the Indian almond catappa bark, and you're
really
getting
cool.
the Casuarina
cones.
Casuarina cones. So that's these little guys right here. So again, these will add more tannins to your tank, give your tank a little bit more of a natural feel. So when you add all this stuff together, it can give you a kind of a biotope feel, South American sort of thing that some of you like to do. So you're getting all 5 of those things.
Yay.
Yep, all 5. Now, hold on, let me get everything ready here because I have to tell you some more information. All right, are we ready? The dealio is we need to pick a number between what? Pick a number between?
I think we should do 100 and 125.
Go. Between 100 and 125.
Did you type go?
I didn't type it, but I just said go.
Yeah,
so
but you
there.
have to type it.
Sorry, go.
Okay.
There we go. All right, what's the... Okay, hold on. All right, wait a second. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let's see. Do we get it yet?
I don't believe so. Make sure that we're at live chat.
I'm on live chat.
I'm on live chat.
You don't have to tell me.
Wait, hey.
Oh, hold on. I got one.
You do?
Yep.
Okay, hold on.
All right, so we can stop typing because the answer is here.
It is?
Yep, I see the answer. So we don't need to type anymore. You can cease putting in the numbers. Do you see it right here? Look.
Oh, Mark Sportswear's here.
Look.
Oh, I see it.
Right there.
Oh.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm fairly certain.
I have one, but I
Yeah, it's got to be.
Okay.
So going down. I'm in live chat.
So am I.
Hold on, everybody. Just pause for a second. And yeah, that's the one. All right.
Okay, hold on. I have not agreed to that yet. I'm doing a screenshot of mine.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so wait, where?
It was right here. And let me just look on my thing too, because she's holding up the show.
But I don't know.
I am 100% sure.
Are you?
Yes, I am. And we're just going to double check on our other screen. Sorry, this is taking longer than normal. I know you're like, oh my gosh, already, come on. Yeah, it is. Okay. So the winner of today's little giveaway is...
If you're wrong, it's going to cost
you.
It's
on me. It is Echo Delta. And the number was 105.
105.
105 Echo Delta. Congratulations to you and yours. So here's what you have to do, Echo Delta, is you need to send us an email. And that email is going to go to, are you ready? Prime Time Giveaway. All one word, Prime Time Giveaway at yahoo.com. Send us your address. We'll send you the stuff. That's how it works. She's still looking through her thing.
I am.
It's Echo Delta. Send us the email. Prime Time Giveaway at yahoo.com. Congratulations. Thank you to everybody who played the game. That was awesome. We had a lot of numbers. Now my whole thing is
Mine
totally stuck.
totally jumped.
It all froze it up. You guys went all crazy doing the things. Let me get to the past the numbers part of the chat, because we can go back to talking about fish and whatnot. But thank you very much, everybody, for playing the cool game. Let's see here. D says, Flueball Stratum got my pH from 8.1 to 7.8. How much lower would Catappa leaves make it? 7.6 lower even? It depends on how high your KH is. So if your KH is on the higher side, it's probably not going to have too much of an impact. If your KH is on the lower side, like let's say mid to lower single digits, it could lower it a little bit. And again, it depends on how many Catappa leaves you're putting in a tank and what the volume of that tank is. So, yeah, maybe. But again, big thank you to Fritz Aquatics. They are supplying us with all the cool stuff so we can give the cool stuff to you. And we appreciate them very much.
Yes, we do.
Let's see here. Oh, let's see. Joanna, where can we get your shirt? So, Joanna's shirt, the one that she's wearing, is the one she stole from me.
I did.
Because I got it at the Pasco County. Hold on. All right. Please move. The Aquatic Club of Pasco County when I went and spoke at their meeting. So I don't know. I don't know if Grant is still in the chat, if they have a website that they sell the shirts. I don't remember them having like a merch thing on their website when I checked it out. But if you're in the Florida area,
come on, everybody, let's go to Florida.
They have them in the meetings. So that's the story there. And then my Primetime Aquatics, it's the summer edition. We just released it this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's on our website, primetimeaquatics.com. Limited quantities for sure.
Yep.
So there's the deal. Oh my gosh, now the chat just skipped all over the place, and we're at the very bottom. Barky B, Crebensis or Epistogramma for a 40-gallon, and I'm an intermediate fish keeper. Intermediates, I think intermediates for the most part can handle either one. I think the Crebensis are more hardy. They get along a little bit more so than the Epistogramma do. You've got a big old group of them in a 20 long. Like how many got in there still? 5, 6, 7, something like that?
No, not that many.
There's at least 5.
5.
Okay.
I don't think I have 7.
So 5 and no real issues, right?
No.
So, and I've kept a big group of Pelicochromis subocellatus, which is a Crebensis type. I had them in a 20, a big group of them in a 20-gallon. I had them in with guppies. They were fine. So the Crebensis, to me, are a little bit more hardy, a little bit easier to keep. At least they are in our water parameters. The Epistogramma there's a bigger selection, and the really striking Epistogramma probably look a little nicer, but they're also way more expensive. That's the other thing too. So the Epistogramma typically go for a lot more money. Like the standard Crebensis, I think are amazing. A lot of times people look at the Crebensis, they think, oh, it's a beginner fish, and okay, whatever. Get a male and a female, full-grown Crebensis. I had a group in a 75-gallon. There was like 15 of them in there. It was, Luke and I went to a GCCA meeting. At the end of the meeting, they had their auction. We bought, I think it was 12 of them for $1. At the time, they were maybe an inch. I threw them in the 75-gallon, and they were in that tank for a couple years, and oh my gosh. Black background, black substrate. The males get the really beautiful fins, not as flowing as the Epistogramma, but they got a lot of blue iridescence to them and some yellow. And the females, they'd be running around this tank with this dark purple belly. They were amazing. That was just a standard crib, and there's a lot of really cool varieties out there. So you can't go wrong with either. But Crebensis are, I think, a little bit easier to keep. What you got?
Ken wants to know any groups in Michigan that we would suggest. Anybody know any groups in Michigan?
There are a number of groups in Michigan. I don't remember the names. Mike Howe is Fish Tank Barn. He's up in the Michigan area. I know he goes to at least 2 clubs in the Michigan area, and they're good quality clubs. That I do know. So
I always forget he's in Michigan.
Yeah.
I don't know where I picture him, but I never picture him in Michigan.
No, he's in Michigan. Now you need to start picturing differently.
I do.
Mike Howe is our designated driver, taxi driver.
He is.
Not that anybody drinks, because nobody in that group drinks, but he's just the person who drives because he's got the van.
the ride. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a good driver, and I trust him. Some people, you ever do that where you get into a car with someone you kind of sort of don't know, and you certainly don't know them that well, and all of a sudden you get in the car and like within 5 minutes you instantly regret it. Mike is not that way, and I am happy to report that Grant was not that way either.
Excellent.
He was a very good driver who paid attention, which made me feel very safe.
Okay, there, Pops.
Yeah.
Can I have another question? 2 for 1?
I suppose you can.
Yay. All right, Sid White would like to know, could having live plants cause your water to turn green? I've done water changes and it went away, and about a week later, it's green again. Green water.
So the short answer is no. But you know what could turn your water green is if you add plants and then start doing a lot of liquid fertilizers. Just because, oh, you know what, I've got my plants, let me put the squirts in there because the directions tell me I need to put in a squirt per 10 gallons every single week. That can definitely lead to a lot of nutrients being in the water. We've said this a million times, but with the plants that we have in our fish room, and we got 80 tanks, most of them are planted, we don't use any fertilizers anymore. So we never use liquid fertilizers, and we only use root tabs when we first set up a tank. And then we rely on the fish waste and all the things that a natural ecosystem would do to take care of the rest. So sometimes people will add the plants and then they start squirting that fertilizer and you get too many nutrients and then you get green water. So the solution to that is just be aware of how much, especially the nitrate. The nitrate's the easiest thing to test. If your nitrate is well over 25 or 30 parts per million in a planted tank, it's probably too much and you can cut back on liquid fertilizers. If you've got any root tabs that have come up to the surface, that can also be an issue and lead to higher nitrate. So start there. See what happens there.
All right, Fish Fan 20 Gallon Long. All right, the movie quote.
Yes.
Once again,
yeah.
and then I'm going to give you the answer, okay?
Okay.
You already know enough about me anymore, and you're going to get a headache.
Okay, that was the quote.
Xanadu. I
have not seen
vaguely remember seeing that, but not for many, many moons ago.
Yep.
There's another one I got to brush up on.
Jim says, I have a 1.5-inch female cribensis with 2-inch male crib and a 20 long. Male chases female relentlessly. Is this normal? Only 2 fish in said 20 long. It can be, but it's probably not the ideal situation. Obviously, the female will get stressed out if it continues to happen all the time. So it's something you would probably want to keep an eye on. If it happens a lot, it looks like the female's getting stressed or getting pushed into a corner or won't come out to eat or just being harassed to a point where it's like, this just looks bad, you might have to separate them. Other option, add 3 or 4 more females. 20 gallon long, you can certainly do that. You've got the space for it. And then if that female is just like, hey, pretty sure I was pretty clear that the whole idea of you and I going out on a date is not happening, then maybe one of the 3 or 4 other females will be like, well, all right, he seems like a nice guy. He's polite. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to date. And then the other female will be like, oh, thank goodness. So you could try that. Master Photographer said, hit the thummy button, please. That's very polite of you. So I think you should do it. I think you should.
K-Stu wants to know, what's your dream tank size?
Ooh, dream tank size. Let's stay in the realm of reasonable because my dream tank is like, okay, well, how long is my home? What's the longest wall I have in my home? It would be that long, right, from wall to wall. So realistically, I would like to have, I don't know how realistic this is, but an 8 to 10 foot long tank, probably in the neighborhood of about 24 inches wide, because any wider than that gets very difficult to work on, especially if it's a really long tank. And I also wouldn't want it extremely tall. So we're looking at 8 or 10 feet long, 24 inches wide, and then not higher than about 20 to 24 inches. So it would be a longer, lower, wider tank. I would like that, because I don't like having to get on a step stool. I don't have very long arms. So working on a tank like that 4 foot 150 we have, if I could go back, I wouldn't have done that. I would have just put a 125 in that place, or even a 6 foot 150, because it's a 30-inch tall tank, and it's, at least for me, it's impossible. We've got some really big, heavy rocks down there, and the fish over time have kind of taken our big, giant rock stacks and have spread them out. Mm-hmm. And to try to fix that is with those big, heavy rocks, and they're kind of slippery. Good luck. I can't get 2 arms in there. I can barely even touch them with 1 arm. So that's why 8, 10 feet long, 24 inches wide, about 20 to maybe 24 inches tall. That would be the max I would go.
Whew.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
it would be awesome.
big tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Jazz wants to know. I apologize for this, but I was the first one that typed in 105 for the giveaway right before you typed in go.
Let me just see about that. Now, the one thing you have to, I can't go back up that far right now. I will double check, but I only saw one number before the go, and make sure you're not in top chat because often that can confuse things. So
I think I saw more than one before you said go, but you didn't specify type in your numbers after I say go. You didn't specify that tonight.
I'll look. Yeah, I'll look, but I check and make sure you're not in top chat as opposed to live chat. Because what top chat does is it will bring your chats and the chats that YouTube thinks are, I don't know, most important or pertinent. It will bring them to the top of your chat as opposed to just putting them in the chronological order. So sometimes that happens because I know a number of people have been like, man, I thought I was first. And it turned out, no, it was just the way it
Top chat.
does the thing.
And I
Yeah.
can't get up there anymore.
Yeah. But we can go back and look at the replay. If it is, don't worry, we always make it right. But
Yeah.
or we would. But I checked it a few times, and I only saw one or two numbers before the go, and neither one of them were the number. Fish Van 20-gallon long. Game over.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for leaving the message. All right, hold on. I'm gonna go on down here. Oh my gosh, everything is skipping around. Everything's going crazy. This thing always
What the
does this
heck?
thing. Nanner's been a member for 3 months. Thank you. I'm putting Similis in a 40 breeder with black substrate and background. That's awesome. That's what combination I really like. What might you add for the upper water column? Thanks for the inspiration. That's a great question. So 40-gallon breeder, it depends. So you've got a couple things going on there. You could certainly do Cyprichromis. So we've had Cyprichromis leptosoma, and we've done that combination with the brevis shell dweller. It's worked out fine. They get along great. The only downside that I've seen to that combination is I don't see a lot of brevis fry. I think the Cyprichromis, those little tiny brevis, when they see them, they're really fast. They go and pick them off. In all the years I've had that combo, I've only had one or two brevis fry that I think have survived because the colony's only grown by one or two. Lots of Cyprichromis survival. That's our Cyprichromis breeding tank, and we've sold hundreds of fish out of there. So that would be the combo I would do for, especially if you're looking for upper water. Some people have done things like guppies and maybe even rainbow fish. Guppies to me get a little bit, you run a little bit of a risk there just because some fin nipping, they're not the fastest fish in the world. Rainbow fish, but then you get in the hole, it's not a biotope anymore, and you're mixing fish from different regions, blah, blah, blah. And some people don't like that, but those, like the dwarf rainbows would work just fine because they're fast. But if you want to keep it Lake Tanganyika, Cyprichromis leptosoma, and plus they've got really awesome color. Whip has been a member for 8 months. Appreciate it, man. And of course, he's a longtime listener and first-time commenter. Thank you. Jason, my fire eel looks like it swallowed a bag of marbles, but is otherwise acting normal. Where do I start? I really have no idea. What the heck did it eat? Or did it eat something? Is it, so you said it's acting normal. Is it eating normal? That would be the first thing I would consider. How old is it? Is it just getting gnarly? Maybe having some type of a growth issue, like an internal thing. If it's eating and making fecal matter normally, then I don't worry as much about a parasite. I haven't had a fire eel in a long time, and I've never seen an eel that bloated. So I don't think that, you said marbles, plural. Is there any fish missing where maybe it's just, it's going to take a little while to digest? So the big thing is it eating? So if it's eating and fecaling normally, then I would probably worry less, and let's wait and see. If not, then maybe you're hitting it with the Expel P and the Paracleanse to be on the safe side. That's my best guess, man, but I am no fire eel expert. Maybe somebody else kept the fire eel and it's like, oh yeah, that happened to me. Here's what it was. Klaus, thank you very much. Member for 11 months, coming up on that 1 year. Hey guys, question incoming. I added 7 yo-yo loaches in a 4-month cycle 75-gallon planted tank. It's got lots of pest snails. Will they overeat on snails? No. Again, most fish are smart enough to not gorge themselves to a point where like, I ate too many snails, gonna die. They'll definitely put the dent in the snails, but especially 7 of them. And eventually you'll have to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? Right? How am I going to feed them? Going to have to add more snails to the tank, or just feed them singing pellets. That's fine too. Season, thank you very much for the super chat. I wished I knew about pothos sooner. I have several of them in my tanks, and I love how they reduce nitrates and also reduce algae growth, but do they also help oxygenate the water a bit? So that's great because, yeah, that's the advantage of putting pothos roots, right? So you just take a pothos stem, you put the stem in the water, eventually the roots grow, and they suck the nitrates and the nutrients out of the water. Definitely going to compete with algae. So that's one of the main things. Reduce the amount of water changes you have to do. Will they help with the oxygen? Probably not, because they're getting the CO2 from the atmosphere, right? So they're not getting it from the water, and they are also going to be releasing oxygen directly into the atmosphere. So these plants like pothos and the semi-aquatics, while they will take nutrients from the water, the gas exchange is happening in the atmosphere. It's one of the reasons why if you put pothos underwater, it dies right away, because it doesn't have the ability to do gas exchange in an aqueous environment. So, but you're getting a lot of benefits from that. Wait, there is a fish room tour that I did where this dude relies heavily on pothos. I can't, it was a very interesting fish room, but part of what made it so interesting was all the pothos he had growing all over the place. You guys are going to be shocked when you see.
Really?
It's the most extensive pothos growth I've seen in my life.
Pizza place?
It's the pizza place is nothing. That's bush league rookie stuff right
really?
there. This guy's got
No kidding.
it everywhere, and it looks really cool. So I think you will like that. I hope. All right, what you got?
All right, I've let's see. This is from Joaquin. Can I have 4 to 6 sparkling gouramis in a 10-gallon with some neons, or 1 honey gourami as well, minus the neons?
All right, so wait, 4 to 6 honey gourami with some neons in a 10-gallon?
Nope, 4 to 6 sparkling gouramis, in a
gouramis.
10-gallon with some neons.
Sure, I don't see why not.
Okay.
Or
a honey gourami, minus the neons.
But with the sparklers.
Yeah.
So sparkling and honey. I don't know. I would feel more comfortable with doing the sparkling with the neons or the honey with the neons. Probably. Have we ever tried to keep that combo together? I don't want to speak on the combo with the honey and the sparkling gouramis because I've never done it. Individually, they're both relatively mellow. Sparkling gouramis will sometimes chase each other around. I know they did that when we had them in a 5. But they didn't do that as much when they were in your bookshelf tank, right? And I don't think they're doing it in the 9-gallon long that you have right now, because I found a couple more and put it with the one that was in there, and I don't remember there being issues there. Yeah. Can you confirm or deny that?
Yeah, no issues.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So I think I would probably lean towards the neons with either the honey or the neons with the sparklers, but maybe not the sparkling and the honeys. But they're both relatively mellow, so I'm not saying it doesn't work, because I'm sure people here have probably done it. And if you have, feel free to chime in and be like, oh yeah, I kept that combo, it was fine, or I kept that combo and it was a bad idea. But I haven't. I would just feel better with not putting them together in a 10. If it was a 20, maybe a little bit more. So, yeah. Let's see here.
Let's see. Sid wants to know, do you sell fish on your website?
Yes and no. So we sell fish on the website, but only for swaps. What generally happens is we do 2 different types of swaps in the Chicagoland area. We do the Greenwater Aquarium Society and we do the GCCA. So we do both of those, and we put the fish on our website about a week. Usually, so if the swap is on a Sunday, usually by like Monday or Tuesday, we add the fish to the website and make it visible. But we don't ship fish, and we don't like have people come over or anything. It's just we only sell at the swaps. But people pre-order all the time off the website, so they're insured to get the fish they want, so they don't show up at the swap and be like, oh man, I really wanted these, because that's really depressing when they don't get them. What you got?
Oh, another one? All right, cool. I just did the last question.
Oh, you did.
Another sparkling gourami question. We have a lot of sparkling gourami questions.
Gouramis.
Okay. Let's see. This is from Alice. Could a sparkling gourami and a Betta go together in a 60 or 65 gallon. I have a female Betta in one tank and a giant male in the other. Both.
Wait, say it again, because I was reading something while you were. I'm sorry.
No, you know how it goes.
But at least I noticed it.
At least you knew I was talking.
Yeah.
True. You got me on that. I must really go out to like outer space somewhere. Woof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Could a sparkling Gourami and a Betta go together in a 60 or 65 gallon? I have a female Betta in one tank and a giant male in the other. Both okay if tank mates.
So the sparkling Gourami in a 65 gallon with the female or the male Betta, probably. That's a huge tank. The
huge.
likelihood that they're going to interact is minimal. We're not talking about trying to put the male and the female together in that 65, are we?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, the sparkling Gourami if it was a smaller tank, that could be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, a 65 gallon, yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't hesitate to do it. All right, let me see. Let me see, what are we doing here? We're scrolling. Alice.
Deanna is super excited. Are you ready?
I'm excited.
No joke. I just looked in my White Cloud tank and noticed my first ever mystery snail eggs stuck to the lid.
Nice.
We have little babies.
That's cool. So just keep those eggs. Make sure they stay moist. Spray them down. There's videos out there. We haven't demonstrated it, but there's videos. Life with Pets has done videos. Lab Snails has done videos about how to make sure that those eggs stay moist so that they hatch. The one thing that happens if they dry out, they'll just be a big crusty egg bunch up there. So check out either one of those channels, Life with Pets or Lab Snails. Both of them have done videos on how to care for mystery snail eggs. And good luck with them. Should be cool. Diana, thank you very much for the super chat. Hello to my favorite fish YouTubers. My question is, can you have a honey gourami mixed with a dwarf gourami in a 55-gallon tank, and how many? Great question. So we did the verses on Monday, and we didn't really address that. Did we address that? I don't think we did, trying to keep them together. In a 55, I probably wouldn't, because dwarf gouramis can be assertive and just sometimes downright mean. And I've had situations where I've had them in a 75-gallon, and I've done many different combos. I've had dwarf gouramis with one another in a 75. They beat the ever-loving heck out of each other. I've had dwarf gouramis in with the blues, the opalines, the golds, so like the larger of the typical gouramis. That didn't work because those gouramis beat up the dwarf gouramis. And I did at one point have, I think, dwarf and honey gouramis in that tank, and that also didn't work because the dwarf gourami was like, yeah, this is my tank. So there's always a chance it could potentially work out, but it's stressful. It's stressful because like if it doesn't, then what do you do, right? If you got a backup plan, like for us, it's not that big of a deal because any combo we put together, it's like, we got a bunch of tanks. We'll figure it out. It's fine. It's no big deal. But if you've only got one or two tanks and you can't move them around, it's not an option, it can be a real mess. So I would just prefer to have a situation where in a 55-gallon with the honeys, you could do 6, 8, 10 of them, and they'd be fine. And they would be interactive, it'd be fun, and they'd be usually relatively gentle with one another. That's probably the way I would go.
And the question from Alice, it wasn't a 55-gallon, that's liters. It's like a 15-gallon with the sparkling Gourami and the Betta. She clarified.
Oh, 15.
15
that
gallon.
I would be a little bit more hesitant to do. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you said it was gallons.
I did. No, no. She changed it. She
Okay.
Specified for us.
Okay. Yeah, 15-gallon sparkling Gourami. I would be a little bit more hesitant to do that just because they are kind of similar in their behavior. And I think you'd either wind up with a sparkling Gourami that hides almost 24/7 or a Betta that's just gonna, and a part of it depends on the personality of the Betta, but wait, wasn't that one that was a male and a female as well, or no?
I don't remember if
No.
that was the...
But if it was a female, probably slightly less chance of there being issues.
Yeah, that's the male and female one,
Okay.
but yeah, one
But
or the other.
I don't know if I would chance it.
Yeah.
It's just, I like to have my situation with fish be something that's going to bring me joy and not have to potentially stress me out. So I tend to be a little bit more reserved, and I get that when I offer stocking options and combinations. I know some of you are like, man, you know what? I've had this and it's working. He's saying it doesn't. I just like to be a little bit more cautious because I recognize not everybody's got a bunch of tanks where they can just throw stuff around And if it doesn't work, it's like one of the worst feelings, right? When you put a tank together, it's like, this isn't working. This hobby's supposed to bring me joy, and it's giving me a headache and it's stressing me out. I just like to try and avoid that as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Rico Stan. I see a few names I recognize. Well, I see a name I recognize. What's up? Glad you're here. Welcome. Welcome to here.
Welcome to here.
Barky B, tank mates other than guppies for crebensis. Depends on the size of the tank. What size tank we got? Kelly D, and that's where MTS comes in. You're not kidding. This is exactly how it happens, where
Pretty much.
MTS, multiple tank syndrome, you're dealing with fish combinations, or you see fish you like, and us fish keepers, generally speaking, have a hard time getting rid of fish, or even returning fish to a store. Sometimes it's like, well, I don't know why this makes sense in our brain, but it does. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. I have two options. These fish are not working. I can take the fish I just bought, admit it doesn't work, and take it back to the pet store, possibly lose my money. Or I've got a better idea. I can just go to the store, leave the fish at home, buy a new tank, not have to admit the thing didn't work, nor bring the fish back, spend a few $100s on a new tank, set it up, put the new fish that doesn't work in that tank away from the fish that it was bullying.
Bam.
Problem solved.
That's right.
That's how it happens. That's one of the ways. And it makes perfectly good sense to us all. Barky B, 40 gallon. All right, so 40 gallon crebensis. Dude, you got a lot of options there. So crebensis in a 40 breeder, you've got basically all of your neon size tetras and larger. So that would be all the neons. You've got your diamond tetras. You've got your ember tetras. You've got serpes, you have your larger rasboras. I just this species profile on the brilliant green rasbora, your pork chop rasboras. These are all like schooling types of fish. You've got your corridoras, you have bristlenose plecos, hatchet fish, pretty much your smaller rainbows like your dwarf rainbows, your furcata rainbows. What else? I'm just rattling them all off here.
What didn't you?
There's a lot of cool options. So those are a lot, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Victoria Lee's here. What's up? What's up? I'm so happy I caught a actually live. Yeah, at least for the next few minutes, you're here, live and in person. Jay says, I have 3 angelfish in a 37-gallon tank, and they get along well. I am debating if to upgrade to a 55-gallon or 75-gallon tank. What would you suggest? If you're going to upgrade, do the 75. I think long-term, it will keep you from going 37 to 55 to 75. That's why I say that. I tend to prefer the 75s a little bit more than the 55s because that extra 6 inches of depth gives you just a very different feel for the fish tank. They're both going to be 4 feet long. Generally speaking, they're both the same height, but that extra 6 inches going from 12.5 to 18 makes a big difference. Now, regarding the angelfish, I don't know if I would necessarily do that. Well, I guess I would for them. Yeah, because they're going to want that extra height and they're going to want that extra size as they grow, because angelfish, as you know, can get pretty large. So I'm glad they're getting along. Keep an eye on them, because eventually, now maybe they're all just like 3 females and you're rocking, and it might work out forever. But if you wind up with a male and a female combo in there, they might push that other one off to the side. Now in a 75-gallon, that probably is going to work. I had them in a 40 breeder at one point, and I had 2 males and a female, and the strangest thing was the female I don't think she was sure who she wanted to be with. So every once in a while I'd see her with one, then the other. And when that would happen, the male that wasn't part of the situation was just off, and they, for the most part, left him alone. And those angelfish are pretty decently sized. So I'm thinking they would probably work okay, but I do like the 75 as an option there. Tracy has a good question. Hi, what nano fish like high pH? Mine runs 7.8. I have a 36-gallon hex. Ooh, a hexagon. That's cool. Let's see. So you've got a hex, you've got a high pH 7.8, and you want some nano fish. Well, our pH is an 8.2.
Mm-hmm.
It runs 8 to an 8.2. So anything you've ever seen in our fish room, for the most part, works. And I know not all of them, you'll read on the internet, okay, ideal pH is from whatever, whatever the range they give you, but we've had good luck with I mean, if you're looking at nanos, all of the raspberries we've ever brought in worked. So the chilies, the miras, the dwarf raspberries, the brilliant greens, the green kubatais, the exclamation points. We've
CPDs.
done celestial pearl danios, otherwise known as the
Galaxy raspberry.
Galaxy raspberry, emerald dwarf raspberries, all of
Ember
those.
tetras.
Ember tetras, all the small tetras. The only tetras that don't work well for us in the pH and our water hardness are cardinals, and sometimes the standard neons, not so good. But the black neons, green neons, gold tetras, I should say, have all worked well. So you've got a lot of options. 7.8 is not something that's crazy. Like glow light tetras have worked. Pygmy cory cats have worked just fine. Sparkling gouramis. So most of the fish that are out there have worked fine. There's only been a few. Otocinclus don't work for us. Neons, standard neons, cardinal tetras generally haven't done so well. Let's see here. Lucas says, you can call me Luke. Cool. My wife is watching and wants to know my question. Haha. How long should you quarantine new fish? Great question. Done a video on it. Check that video out, so it'll give you a lot more in-depth reasoning. 4 weeks. 4 weeks is what we do, and trust me when I tell you, there have been a number of situations where that 4 weeks really mattered. I'll give you an example. Last swap that we did in April, we had some green neons, and the green neons were great. They did well, and then we had a group of them in a separate tank, and we had orders for them, and I had to cancel every order. And those fish had been in that tank for almost 4 weeks, and all of a sudden, they started getting something. Now, they hadn't had any contact with any fish. All the other green neons we had were perfectly fine. Those ones in that one tank, they started to go south. So rather than bring them to the swap and have somebody else have a problem, we had to cancel and refund those orders because after 3.5 weeks, they were looking good, and all of a sudden, they started not looking good. So 4 weeks will give you time to ensure that the fish are not dealing with parasites you didn't know were there. When it comes to things like ick, that usually shows up within a few days. And because that's the most predominant type of parasite we're going to encounter in the fish keeping hobby, we tend to think, oh, as long as they're not showing ick after a few days, they're going to be okay. But that's not true, because a lot of the internal parasites, even some bacterial infections, won't show for 2 or 3 weeks after you get them in your fish room or fish house or quarantine tank. So I know it can be kind of a pain when somebody tells you you just bought some fish you're really excited about and you want to see them in your larger aquarium, and they're saying, no, put them in a tank off to the side for 4 weeks and watch them and make sure they're okay. Because the other part of that is they might be eating for a while, and then those internal parasites really start to take hold, and their immune system starts to go south, and now after 2.5, 3 weeks, they just go off food. And you're like, wow, we've got a problem here. So trust me, it will save you a lot of problems, because the last thing you want to do is treat your main tanks, your display tanks, because a lot of the meds that we use to treat disease are rough on invertebrates and they're rough on plants, and you're trying to jack up temperatures to deal with external parasites, and that can kill fish. And then some of these things you want to add salt. Oh, but I've got cory cats or I've got loaches and I can't do that. So then you limit yourself to what you can do, and you don't want to remove the fish from the display tank. I mean, you can, but at that point, you have to assume that every fish that was in that display tank has been exposed. Trust me, it's a lot easier to treat small volumes of water in a quarantine tank, QT tank, than it is messing with your display. It's just do it. 4 weeks. All right, everybody. I think we're going to call it an evening, because it's about that time. We really appreciate all the good questions. A lot of good questions this week. We're going to be back next week, same time, same place. Bring your questions. If we missed any, we're sorry. We'll double check on the thing just to make sure that we hit the right 105. So don't worry. For the person we called out, you're going to get your stuff. And if we have to go back and take a look, we will. So thank you once again for being here. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Have a great rest of the week. And we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.